Act 1 might be small, only 25% of the story, but it's arguably the most important. This is where you hook the reader. It's where you make the reader give a rip about the world you've created, and most importantly, the characters. Never forget that stories are about characters and not the fantastic world you've created. The world exists for the characters' benefit, not the other way around. If you want to hook your reader, your first act needs to be tight. If it isn't, your readers will go elsewhere. In his book The First 5 Pages, author and editor Noel Lukeman claimed that most editors and agents can tell if a book will sell within the first 5 pages. The great ones, he claims, can tell within the first 5 sentences. If traditional publication is your goal, let alone entertaining readers, then your first act needs to be immaculate. Understanding good form can help. Exposition. The first act deals with a lot of exposition. There's not much character development here, just description. Who's the main character? Where is he? Not just geographically, but culturally. What are the times in which he lives? What are his strengths and weaknesses? Most importantly, what is he after and why does he want it? Your character always needs to want something. That something can be an idea or an abstraction, but it needs to be concretized in a tangible goal. In his book Stein on Writing, author and publisher Sol Stein says your character needs to want something right from the start. It doesn't even need to be related to the story. They only need to crave it immediately. Even a glass of water will do if they desire it urgently. If you have any special magic or technology in your work, this is also where you introduce it. Let the reader know who possesses it. How do they acquire it? How does it work? Why does it exist in the first place? A good example of exposition is the beginning of Star Wars. The opening crawl tells us much of the where and when the story takes place in only a few seconds. But this is just an abstraction. This abstraction is concretized when Vader attacks Leia's ship and takes her hostage. All this before we've even seen the protagonist. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding the bell so YouTube will notify you when I upload new videos. And don't forget to check the description of this video for book recommendations, as well as all the tools and resources I use in my writing and video production. Back to the video. The Inciting Incident. After setting the stage, what follows is the inciting incident. This is known as the call to action, and it's where the quest is presented to our hero. By this point in the story, we should have established whatever deeply felt needs the character has that aren't being met by their ordinary world. Completion of the quest in some capacity should satisfy that need. That's not to say the hero is always eager to embark on the quest. Sometimes they need a kick in the pants to get going. In The Lord of the Rings, Frodo longed for adventures like his uncle Bilbo. This fact is lost in the movies, but in the books, it took him 17 years to get out the door. And he wasn't a young man either. He was 50. Luke Skywalker also craved adventure and an escape from his life as a moisture farmer on Tatooine. But it wasn't until the Empire destroyed the last remnant of his family that he accompanied Obi-Wan. The immediate reaction. Following the inciting incident is the immediate reaction, where characters react to the inciting incident. This is where the characters make an active choice to undertake the quest. In Star Wars, this is where Luke, after seeing the remains of his aunt and uncle, realizes that he has nowhere left to go and joins the rebellion. In stories with a willing protagonist, this is where the hero follows the mentor figure down the road of trials. In the Harry Potter series, this is where Harry follows Hagrid out of the tiny shack and leaves the Dursleys behind for Hogwarts. We need to ask what our characters want. What's lacking in their lives? What are their greatest fears and desires? What are their flaws as people? If they're reluctant to the call, what illusions can we strip away to light a proper fire under their backsides? If they're willing, what carrot can we dangle before their greedy little eyes to steer them where we want them to go? In some stories, the inciting incident and the immediate reaction can happen at the same time. For Luke, it happens when he sees the charred remains of Owen and Beru. For Harry, it's when Hagrid gives him his invitation and takes him to Hogwarts. They don't need to happen at the same time, but they often do. I hope that helped. In the next video, I'll discuss the events of Act 2. I'll see you there. Until next time, good writing and Calamus Gladio Fortior.